what a year closing right now. Your book, a New York Times bestseller, but you also have this album. You just received your Grammy nomination. What's going on in your head right now?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind year after many years of feeling just like a crazy person, of working really hard on these two projects for the past 5 years. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like I'm at the sort of summit of all achievement, and yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like a big moment for me right now.
Where were you when you received the nomination?
I was at my apartment in Brooklyn, and I had a podcast taping for the Studio Ghibli podcast that day at noon. And my manager was like, I think you should watch the Grammy nominations. And I was like, I don't want to watch it. And he was like, just trust me, I have a good feeling. Yeah. And I was kind of like, what do you know? And yeah, I watched it and I was totally blown away. I had no idea that it was going to happen.
Is there like a tape or something with your reaction?
There is. So my manager texted my husband and was like, film her reaction. But my husband is like not very good at filming things. So he like films me for like a second and then immediately films the television for like most of it. It is the most surreal thing that's ever happened to me.
And so it also seems like it's a shared victory with your husband because you guys have collaborated.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a huge achievement for everyone that I work with. You know, our booking agent, our managers, Craig Hendricks, our drummer and producer, the whole band, the whole crew. Like, it's a big thing for all of us because we know it's going to be a really big year ahead of us. And yeah, I mean, it's just the highest recognition you can get as a musician. It's like one of those things that you can say to your like international like 60-year-old relatives and they all know what it is. So it's one of those things that it means a lot.
So let's talk about the book as well, because it seems like they're two completely different projects. I mean, a book and an album, that's obvious, but also like the subject of both seem like the opposite.
Yeah.
But how do you go from one to the other?
I think I'm just someone that likes to stay busy and mentally occupied. So the book was something I started working on for like the past 5 years. I mean, the first essay that I wrote was probably in 2016, and then it was kind of like,
because it was going to be an essay. And
yeah, it was an essay, and then I think through writing that essay I realized there was a much larger story I needed to tell. And then I kind of like poked away at it for the next 2 years, and then I got a book deal and I kind of started working on it more in earnest. But there's a lot of built-in kind of time off, luckily, with a book where you give it to your editor and you have like 4 to 5 months off. And so during that time I did a lot of the writing, and then I would get the book back and edit it and then send it back over. I would be mixing. So there was a lot of space to kind of work between two projects.
And it's going to be adapted to film now?
Supposed to be, yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be writing the screenplay like now.
Okay.
And I've been so busy with touring and press, and so I haven't had much of a chance, but I'm looking forward to digging into it.
So how do you decide what's next for you? What are you going to work on next?
That's a really good question. That's like very much what's going on in my life right now. Just a wealth of riches and how to proceed, you know. I'm not entirely sure. Like, I think that you have to just kind of follow your heart, that kind of thing. And I think for the next year it'll be working on the screenplay and just focusing on touring and traveling the world again and trying to be present and figuring out what to do next.
I bet, I mean, you had your album during the pandemic, and now you're finally getting to play shows, live shows with an audience. How was it? How's the process of, you know, what you did in the studio, taking it to the stage and actually being in front of people?
It's surreal. You know, after a year and a half of not even seeing my friends, it's really intense to go from that kind of isolation to seeing, you know, 1,500 people looking at you. And I think for the first time I had a lot of performance anxiety I never had before, but it was also extremely rewarding, and it felt like such a special album and a very topical album for these times, and so it felt, I'm the most proud of this band than I ever have been. You know, I think that we're a 6-piece band now, and we have a 4-person crew, and it's bigger and better than ever before, and I'm very confident in our performances.
I have to ask, were you thinking about the outfits during the pandemic? Like, were you planning what you were going to wear at your shows?
Yeah, definitely. That is a fun part of it, especially because you're just like living in sweatpants. So you're like, I knew that for this year I wanted to be really splashy and wear a lot of very extra type of outfits, as you might have guessed.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So is there a different closet for like, Japanese breakfast and Michelle? Do you guys have different closets?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think that like everyday Michelle has gotten a little bit more adventurous just because I spend most of my life now on tour, and so it's kind of, my closet is either like clothing for a stagehand, just like all black, like warehouse worker, or just like huge pink dress and like bejeweled garments. So I feel like everyday Michelle is like a little bit more dressed up now that I've gotten to do this for a living.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have fun tonight.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited. Yeah, I've never been to Mexico City, and yeah, I hear that the crowd is lit, and like I'm excited to see what that energy is like. This space is incredible, and I think it's gonna be a really good time.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.